I wake groggily, I can't remember anything. Yesterday was all a blur. I know Phil and I had been dating for a year now, it was our anniversary so we decided to have a party. I remember lots of alcohol, weird indie movies and boiled eggs. But now, where am I? I adjust my eyes and look around. It's bright, blindingly bright, but I can make some obscure shadowy figures. I recognize chairs, what looks like an assortment of clothes and various objects on the floor and a TV. It's my room, well, mine and Phil's room. I wipe my eyes and get up. I'm in bed, shirtless, and wearing boxes. I take off the bedclothes and stand up. My body feels tense so I bend down and over to stretch. You're up, finally. I recognize the voice. How could I not? It's Phil's voice. Vibrant and jubilant, it's my heart just hearing a vowel emitted from his mouth. I turn around, Phil is standing there wearing a plain white tee and some grey sweatpants. His hair's a little messy but it's early in the morning. He's smiling, such a bright smile. Phil, I reply. I run up to him and embrace his nice slender body. I look him in the eyes, instantaneously we kiss. Our breath might smell like alcohol and eggs, but it's still one of the most empowering kisses I've ever had. 1 year, to think I've been with Phil for 1 year. You're in a good mood, Phil points out. I let go and tears of joy flow from eyes, how could I not be? I love you, Phil. I go back for another embrace followed by a sweet kiss. I get lost in him, in his everything. In his supple yet fortified body, in his sweet soft lips, in his gentle embrace, in the light of his own existence. He's my one, my all, my alpha, my omega. I can't describe how I feel. Call me a sexually misunderstood drama queen teen, but goddammit I love Phil. I'd love him as a girl, but I'm glad he's a guy. So much time passes, it's a tongueless kiss. We don't need our tongues to dance to show our feelings, just the embrace is enough for us. I think to myself, how long has it been? Minutes, hours, days, years, eons. This kiss seems laconic yet eternal. Perhaps my homoerotic fantasies are taking over and this is the greatest feeling in the world, or perhaps I'm being admonished of what to come. But why do I know something bad will happen? What is this apprehensive feeling I have? It festers in my heart, diabolically ripping my feelings apart and smiting my love. No, go away. Go away. Why am I screaming on the inside? Why are all these questions forming? I love Phil, so what could be wrong? How long has this kiss been? What's going on? My thoughts are cut off immediately. The kiss fades away and I fall on my back. Blood is on my lips and down my chin, but I didn't feel anything. I look up as my paralyzed body lies in a contorted position. In what looks like a scene from a horror movie, there stands Phil, his piercingly cold eyes, his menacing grin, and blood on his teeth. In his right hand is a syringe, an empty one at that. I feel dizzy. Phil, I struggle to call out to him, but no success. My mind drifts, my body fades. Like the pouring rain, I feel gone. I drift off to where exactly? ... Wake up, bitch. A sudden jolt of electricity shoots through my spine as a stinging sensation emits from my chest. I cough up air that I choke on and crane my head forward, giving me whiplash. I scream in pain only for my mouth to be cupped. Phil's demonic eyes stare me into my soul. He has a vicious smile on his face. Scream and I kill you. Nod if you understand. I don't know what's going on or why, but I instinctively nod. He pushes me back and whips me again across my neck. I bite my lip and curl my toes and fingers as the searing burns fester. I'm chained, my arms and legs are restricted, and I'm somewhere in a dark room. Before I can recover from the previous mark of searing pain, the whip cracks again against my right shoulder. My eyes widen and I suppress a scream, but in a chained order the whip fluidly cracks itself against my stomach, back, and various appendages. Oh god, stop, I scream inside, but it's no use. I cry heavily. I don't make any noises except for faint grunts of horror, but my eyes won't stop leaking. The tears trickle down my face and tickle me. Not the fun-friendly tickle, the irksome tickling that feels uncomfortable. Everything hurts, everything is black and grey as the whip snakes itself painfully upon my body. Phil snapped, that's all I can say, but why? I tried to think to last night, but abruptly it's over. How does it feel, bitch? Phil snaps. He accentuates the last word as if to let me know that I'm now his bitch. I grit my teeth and lie, it feels good, babe. Tears stream down my face faster. Phil's lips curl again. He doesn't smile anymore, instead he horrifically curls his lips as if he's in a movie made by Tim Burton. He licks the tears off my face, slurping them with the utmost obnoxious moans. It's not kinky licking either, it's almost like Phil is slowly eating me like an ice cream. He's gonna thaw me by licking me all around until I'm nice and moist, where then he'll take a bite and it'll be over, or at least that's the feeling. Your tears. Phil grunts between licks, they're so delicious. He moans in pleasure. I hold my tongue and try to suppress my every urge to scream, but it's futile. Phil suddenly stops licking me. He unchains me systematically, almost like he's a robot. I fall to the ground and hit my back. This pain is nowhere near as bad as what I just went through. I get up and am greeted by a fist across my cheek. It's blindingly fast and unexpected. I slam back into a wall, coughing up blood on the way. Before I can collect my bearings, Phil charges toward me, swinging his whip passionately against my withered body. The whip travels its way painfully across myself, each strike so much more deadly than the last. Why won't you talk to me? Phil demands in between whippings. I reply in between the whippings, I didn't know you wanted me to Phil. Phil stops. He rests his whip and sighs. I fall down on my knees covered in bruises and blood. I cough up thick red phlegm and hope it's over. But of course it isn't. Phil roughly grabs my hair and drags me against the cold concrete floor. He takes me to a sink and bends my head back in the bowl. I stare up at the faucet, knowing what comes next. Burning hot water pours down like a waterfall, smothering my face. It seeps into my mouth, down my nostrils, clogging my ears, and sliding underneath my eyeballs. The pain is never ending, never ceasing, it goes on and on, burning worse and worse. I try spitting out the water, but more comes in. I'm choking, burning and drowning at the same time. I feel my consciousness fade, but then it stops. Abruptly, Phil pulls out my head. I take a deep breath that is short-lived. Swiftly he dunks my head in a bucket filled with freezing water. At first it feels pleasant, the cold water, but then it burns. It freezes over on my face and burns me worse than the hot water. I yell my heart out in the water, bubbles quickly travel up to the surface, repeatedly popping. Phil pulls me out again and leans in near my wet and burnt face. So, he asks anything to say. I spit water in his face. Why? I yell at myself. Why did you do that, Dan, you fucking idiot? Oh god, Phil's going to kill me. Phil wipes the water off his face and curls his lips again. He throws me against a wall and I slink down. He looms over me and unzips his pants. You might like to spit, but it'll make you swallow. His pants and boxes fall in sync with each other. Before I can take a good look, he forces my head towards his crotch. I feel it, his penis rests inside my mouth. It's flaccid, but it won't be for long. Bite it, Dan, I yell at myself, but no. I know the consequences. I'm in a much weaker state than Phil, so even if I did bite it, he'd catch me after recovering from the pain, and then I'm screwed even worse. I decide to go with the flow. It's not like I've never given Phil oral before. I wrap my tongue around his flaccid penis and snake it down all the way to the base. It's shaped just like mine, allowing this to be a more pleasant experience. I allow my saliva to lubricate it and tickle the base and shaft with the tip of my tongue. I can feel it slowly getting bigger. I retract in my tongue and push it up against the tip, allowing the saliva to seep inside his meat. Then I rest my tongue inside the meat of his penis, sucking him from the inside out. I slowly and faintly swivel from side to side, in a way jacking him off from the inside of his penis. By now it's at full length. I go in deeper, allowing the penis to tickle the roof of my mouth and press on towards the back. I have no gag reflex, so I'm perfectly okay with this. The soft underside of my lips nuzzle against the lower part of his shaft as my tongue curls around it, taking a brief respite only to continue on to snaking its way through the meat. I can feel Phil's penis slowly rustle. He's starting to come, so I switch gears. I take my right hand and grip his base, rubbing it up and down in my mouth while my tongue viciously slithers all over. It leaves its wet marks all over the shaft and tip while my hands roughly rub against the base. His penis lurches, it pumps itself once, then twice, and then on the third time I feel the ejaculation slowly seep down my throat. I swallow, I allow the liquid to travel its way down my neck and into my stomach while my tongue cups the residue and slithers its way all over Phil's dick. It finally stops and pulls out slowly, allowing a strand of saliva to rest on the tip of Phil's penis. I lay back and smile at a job well done. Then look up, hoping for a smile on Phil's face. His hand quickly covers my face and squeezes against my head. He throws me onto the floor where my chains were and quickly dresses himself. I struggle to my feet, allowing myself to regain my conscience, but Phil is already there. He grabs my right arm and chains it. I decide not to fight back. What would it accomplish anyway? Phil would just overpower and torture me more. Soon, my entire body is chained. I've never felt so scared before, but I swallow my fear. So Phil, I swallow. What's going on now? Fear picks apart my insides and spoils my stomach. I feel like throwing up. He remains silent and grabs his whip. No, I think. I know what he's planning, but how? I push thought of my mind, but ignores itself at the back of my head. He unzips my pants and rips off my underwear, revealing my flaccid penis. It occurs in slow motion. The uncurling of the whip as it slices through the air. My visage of shock as I quickly shut my eyes, hoping this is all a dream, and a snap. The crack as the whip unleashes its wrath. It slaps me straight on against the base of my penis and manages to slap itself against my testicles. This is beyond pain. This is nothing I've ever experienced or imagined could happen to me. My penis burns and my testicles seem to go inside my body and shoot themselves throughout my insides. Metaphors can't describe the sheer suffering I'm going through. The concentration of 1,000 suns all imploding into a black hole that sucks every joyous feeling I've ever had, only to regurgitate themselves in a supernova of pain course throughout myself. I scream at the top of my lungs, trying to express this sheer pain. I grate my vocal cords and end up choking on my own air, causing me to cry out. The tears burn themselves on my cheeks as my anaerobic body is dealt with another smash against my genitalia. It tugs on every nerve in my body and explodes every synapse. My arms curl themselves in pain as the veins twist and consult to express my suffering. I hit the wall. It's done now, I can't go on. I pass out from the sheer shock of the pain. I wake up laying on a cold white bed. I look up, there's Phil in a doctor's uniform. A white light utterly blinds me, causing my eyes to burn and express the pain with tears. I'm chained down. Phil, I ask, why? Phil has a solemn expression in his eyes. He seems to mourn what he's done. It's so cute and pathetic, I almost forgive him. Almost. Dan, I love you. I love everything about you. Your smile, your personality, how you taste, how you feel, how you sound. Tears stream down his cheeks and onto my body. Dan, I can't live without you. At this point he's heavily sobbing while he expresses his feelings. It's been a year and I can't imagine life without you, so I can't let that happen. I'll never let you go, Dan. His voice becomes grave and he starts to chuckle maniacally. I'll keep you here forever, ha ha ha. We'll be together and nothing you can stop me, ha ha. I ha ha ha. I'll make sure you never leave me, Daniel. His eyes widen and his pupils dilate. He grins as his body cranes over mine. It's not Phil anymore, it's a monster. A demon. The living spawn of Satan, ready to torture myself for all eternity. He continues to laugh uncontrollably, but I decide to break the madness. But Phil, you can't do this. My breath is labored and I struggle to utter these words. Why, Dan? Explain it to me, Phil says, chuckling. Because Phil. Because why? He grows more insane by the minute. Because I know what I'm going to say. It's not a wise idea. The moment I utter these words, the end of my life is nigh. I know I'm going to be a dead man, and I accept that. Despite this insanity, I still love Phil. So I must say this no matter the consequence, because why, Dan? Because guys can't be yandere, Phil A.N. A yandere describes an anime character who is either psychotic or violent or both, and shows affection to the main character. Silence. Complete and utter silence. I feel it. I feel Phil's anger. His vehement wrath, his pure unmitigated hatred for what I just said. I don't say anything next. I can't bring the courage. Instead I close my eyes and allow death to pass on. I feel Phil walk away. Why was he going? The apprehension in my stomach has never been this bad. This feeling is by far the worst thing I've ever felt. It burns from the inside out and freezes over only to burn me again. I sweat acid, I'm choking on nails, and my skin feels like it's being violated by a cactus. Phil surely has the worst torture in mind for me. I'm on an operating table, he's dressed as a doctor. I know what's going to happen. Phil returns. He pulls my eyelids open to force me to witness what will happen to me. He keeps my eyes pried open with a special clip so I have a perfect view of my body. He takes a small stainless steel scalpel and makes a small incision on my neck. I feel the blood trickle and I feel something getting pulled. It feels like my brain is being ripped apart and then it snaps. My throat feels like it's filled with liquid cement. I can breathe, but I realized what he did. He ripped out my vocal cords so I can't scream. Next I watch as he opens up my stomach and pulls out every organ in my body besides the vitals, one I need to be kept alive. Slowly and painfully he rips them out and crushes them in his hands, allowing the blood to fall back in my stomach. This goes on for 30 minutes. I don't even need to put in detail the pain I feel. It's unimaginable, indescribable, undeserving. Then is my face. With a small curled knife he peels off my lips, slowly allowing the blood to seep its way in between my teeth. Then he opens my mouth up and pulls out each one of my teeth with what seems to be a mini crowbar. He snaps them in my mouth and then pulls them off. After my mouth, he decides to take the mini crowbar and pull off my nails slowly from my fingers. This isn't hell. Hell isn't as torturous as this. This incessant brutality. Phil isn't Satan. He's the sadistic king. He's the utter epitome of pain and suffering. Once my nails are ripped off of my hands and feet, he takes what seems to be a hefty rock hedge clipper. He places it around my arms and squeezes, breaking my bones by imploding them. It doesn't cut my arms off, but instead mangles and crushes them. After my arms he goes to my legs until nothing but mangled skin is left. He's still not done yet. No, he never is. He pulls out a rusty corkscrew and I know what he's going to do with it. He jams it down my urethra and twists it inside my penis, causing the inside of my meat to become shredded and minced. Blood squirts out from my dick and plasters itself on Phil, but he's not done there. Then he brutally pulls the corkscrew to the right, ripping open the right side of my penis just to run across my left testicle. It rips off the skin and causes my testicles to sag even more. Then he takes his clipper thing and crushes each testicle while it's still attached, only to use it to rip them off from my body. As I've said, this is purely indescribable pain. I show my mercy by allowing you to imagine this feeling. For 2 reasons. The first, I can't put this torturous anguish into words. It's literally impossible to describe every nuance of this brutality. And secondly, if I could truly describe to you this pain, the sheer vehemence of this suffering would be enough to torture your body with mere words. So I'll allow you to be able to give yourself the benefit of the doubt of this pure and unmitigated torture. Finally, it's almost over. But it only gets worse. Dan pulls out a box of mini spiders. My arachnophobia kicks into hyperdrive. I want to scream and shout and writhe around in fear, but I'm tortuously disabled too. Dan signals to me, almost telling me that he's going to place the spiders down my throat, but there's one more thing he must do. He takes his clipper and places it on my eyeballs. He starts with the right, slowly squeezing it, allowing the blood on it to seep into my retinas and burn me before he pops my eyeball. After the first one is popped, he moves on to the second. The only soothing part about this is the blood that flows down my face. It feels serene compared to this hell. Finally, he pops the second one. I'm almost done. Death is almost here. I hear the box empty. The spiders clog my throat and crawl inside my body. They scurry, scamper, and hustle throughout my insides, sojourning in my throat while they bite at the insides, resting in my lungs, clawing at my heart, and festering in every nook and cranny. The ultimate pain, the uttermost infinite amount of torture that could ever be reached. This seems to be a physically impossible amount of pain, but that's it. Phil did it. He reached the level of a god, smiting me with the impossible apex of torture and suffering. How fucking kinky. The spiders bite and bite, allowing the blood to run black inside me. It's strange. Seconds before I die, all of a sudden this is turned into a great joy. It's like the pain dial was reversed and the utmost indescribable joy filled my body. I feel happy. I don't hate Phil. I love him. I truly do. Do I still seem like a sexually misunderstood teen to you? I don't think I do. I think I won. I won love. Pure, unmitigated, vehement, unwavering love. And it tastes like joy. A palatable victory. Funny, this victory, this palatable euphoria tastes like cherries. Like sweet liquid cherries.